What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video, and I wanted to make a quick video about this song called "Colors of the Wind" from the Disney soundtrack of Pocahontas. And I wanted to kind of give like a little brief review. Hopefully, I don't talk too much, but uh, this song, and if you haven't heard this song before, or it's been a while that you haven't heard this song, definitely click off of this video and go, go listen to it and then come back. Um, or just stay for the video and then listen to it, however it does fit or suit you. But, you know, I've heard this song before, but as I got older and I listened to it over and over and over again, this song really moves me in so many different ways and touches my soul because it literally gives a great depiction of how colonists come to the land and they basically take advantage of the land for their own greed, right? And for their own resources and, to create whatever opportunities that they can make for themselves. And this is not just to, people who are, let's say, we can say the elites, we can talk about the people who are of power. This is not just for those, this conversation is not just targeted to that group of people, but it's also targeted to the average folk, the average person. Um, And when you listen to this song, what it does show you that everything in life is spirited. Everything in life has life. And just because the form does not look like, you and I as people, as humans, doesn't mean that it is not living and it doesn't serve its own purpose here, right? And I make my example because um I spend a lot of time in nature. I spend a lot of time, especially by the water, and I love to go on hikes. And one thing I've learned in nature is that nature always shows a reflection of who I am back. So sometimes I'll be in nature and I'll be like, with the trees and the forest. And sometimes, an animal will come back. I've seen deers come close to me. I've seen a lot of rabbits and things like that. Birds, owls in the trees, hawks. And I've noticed when they come close to me, um, I'll get like a nervous reaction or things like that because they'll startle me. And it always shows me that, it nature always shows me my own state of mind when I enter it. And when I leave nature, it always gives me um something back in return, which is very, very beautiful. So um what I'm trying to get at is that everything is living, right? And how I can also give an example that everything is living is because everything has a sound, right? Everything has a rhythm. Everything has a movement, right? And the interesting thing is that you can engage with these movements, you can engage with these sounds. And if you can engage with these sounds and engage with all of these different rhythms, that means you are communicating with it, right? Just the other day, I was walking by a pond and people are going to think I'm crazy, but I was just talking to the ducks. Um and Actually, I was talking to geese. I didn't I had to look up the difference between ducks and geeses. But I was talking to the geese, and um I was observing them, and I noticed that one of them had this bracelet on their legs. And I'm like, what the hell? How the hell do they have a bracelet on their leg when we're out in freedom of nature? And I noticed that this one particular one had like a metal brace on its leg. And it comes to find out, I look up what it is, and I guess it's a way to track, um, basically it's a way to track, you know, uh, their migration, like their distances, and gain certain data from them. And that can be a topic of its own. But I kind of want to talk about how, if we can extract data from these animals and data from nature, that means it's also communicating with us. Now, that might be a more objective. You'll say to me like, "Hey, that's really just an objective assessment." And yes, it is. But it's still a language. It's still a form of communication, right? And I can only talk about that way to more of the people who are not very more spiritual sense, where they may not have more of a deep communication. So when I tell you that Dr. Doolittle is a real, in fact, movie, and you can really actually talk to animals, you'll probably say, this mother effer is crazy. But I'll tell you, no, I'm not. I can actually talk to animals, but you probably won't understand that. So I have to put it in more of a realistic term to you and say that we can extract objective data from these animals to give us a language of communication. But I will tell you, what if we could actually talk to animals? And that is the thing. And you can't just you don't just talk to animals, but you can talk to everything that is living around you, right? And the thing is that when I began my journey, really to find out more about who I am inside of this world, and when I began my journey to heal myself, and there was a process that came to me, and this process, this process was basically showing me that I need to rebuild all of my relationships inside of life. And when I talk about relationships, you might say, oh, are you talking about relationships in the sense of, a relationship with a man and a woman, or a friendship, or your parents? And that's not, yes, that is true. But I'm also talking about the relationships within this universal law. That means our relationship with things like food is also a relationship. Anything that you are treating a certain way is a relationship. Anything that you are doing is a relationship. So, say for instance, you have a car, you have a relationship with your car, right? I talked about food. We can talk about the relationship with money, which is a topic of another, day we can dive into. But everything has a language. Everything has a form of communication, which means that it can be studied and you can actually talk to it. But I know that I'm getting into these different concepts, but I want to now tie this all back into why this particular song in the movie is a great movie. Um, and the thing is that we have to realize that how we treat things says a lot about our own life and how we treat ourselves, right? Because if you are tapped into the spiritual realm and the spiritual laws of nature and just this spiritual world, you'll know that everything has a cause and effect. Just because a tree is sitting right there and it's not, it's just sitting there, when you touch it and you break it down, there is a cause and effect that will happen on your life, believe it or not, depending on what you do with that tree and your intentions behind that tree. The same way when it comes to animals, right? And how you treat that animal, right? And how you take care of that animal says a lot about your relationship with yourself, and how you treat that animal will give you a reaction back to you. And I can get into animals because I received I feel like I've gotten a message about animals, and especially about eating animals and things of that nature that I would like to get into, but that can be for a different video if people actually like this video enough. But we have to realize that we need to respect the land that we walk on, and we need to talk to everything that we interact with, right? And we have to show love to the land. This is one of the biggest reasons why our world is in the state that it is to today. And it has showed within history. This is not just today, but it has shown in history time and time again, because we do not respect the land, and certainly we do not respect each other, right? I can't tell you countless of times where, I watch YouTube, and I watch a lot of camping videos and a lot of survival videos, and I've watched people just break down trees or break down things in nature just for their own profit. Now, I'm not against, you have to remember, right? Everything on the land is ours, but everything on the land is meant to be used. But not everything on the land was meant to be abused and taken advantage of for especially profit, right? A lot of times when we go up to taking something, whether it's a fruit from a tree, whether it's cutting down a tree, whether it is, how we deal with animals, we have to, some people don't even understand that you have to actually ask for permission to do that before you take it. You don't People don't get it. People will never really understand that you actually need to ask for permission to touch that tree and touch that animal before even taking what you take from it. You should also be having a relationship with these things before even taking things from it. If you don't have an understanding of how these things grow and how they live, it will not benefit you in any which way. And these are spiritual concepts that you have to grasp with inside of your heart. And this takes time when you're building relationship with yourself, and then you build relationship with everything else around you. Now, you'll say to me, how do you know this? And I'll tell you, do you like being taken advantage of? Right? A lot of people on this earth, and I've studied people a lot, and I truly believe that I would say there's probably a select few of quote unquote bad animals, and I mean I said bad animals. I would say quote unquote bad people. I'm not really I try to stay away from the concepts of good and bad, but just for the use of this video, I'll say that, you know, there are probably a select few of people on this earth that are truly, truly bad people. But I would say majority of people who who walk in this depiction of bad are just really people who have been taken advantage of and are tired of being taken advantage of. So they move into more of their darker realm to try to stop and protect themselves. But really what they're doing inside of that process is creating more harm within the land and spreading more harm within the land, which actually births a certain type of response back. But what I've examined is that most people actually like to give. And I can see this example in everyday life. You can walk down the street and you can ask a dozen of people, "Oh, how do I get to this place?" And people will give you the answer. Some people would even give you the answer and try to give you so much. They'll try to give so much information to you to the point they don't even notice that they're talking your ear to death. You can even see this on YouTube comments, that people just love to give free advice, free opinions. You can say, "Oh, it's just egotistical," or things like that. Maybe so, but they love to do it. You can get free information out of anybody because people truly just like to give out of the sense of just giving. But what people do not like is they do not like to be taken advantage of. And once they feel like they're being taken advantage of, you'll slowly, what is the process that will happen? They will slowly cut off communication of their resources. And brain blast, Jimmy Neutron, what do you think that these animals, the birds, the trees, the fruits, the things we eat, what do you think that they will do? Right? What do you think that they will do when we're not intentionally speaking life or engaging in healthy ways with what's around us? You are now cut off of what? Source energy. And we can go into that, can be a whole different topic for something else. Woo! Woo! I hope you hear life that's in my voice. I hope you hear life that's in my voice, because this is the problem with our world. This is the problem with our world. I'm going to try to cut it right here, but you can see this example in everyday life, right? I can go outside and I see a dog with a leash and a collar on its neck, walking down the street with its owner. And some people would say, "Oh, what a beautiful dog, and what a beautiful owner. It's treating it so well. It's on a leash and a chain." I can only laugh because people don't really understand that that animal is also you. That animal is a reflection of who you are. And when we understand our true power here on earth, we will understand that I believe that there was a time where we could communicate with all the animals on the land. I believe that there was a time where we can command certain animals without even needing to put a leash on them. Putting a leash on an animal is just a reflection of how much power we have lost in our society. When I go to the market and I'm seeing apples or chicken legs the size of a I don't even know what. This is proof that we have lost power inside of our society, inside of our civilization. Now, I urge you guys to go watch this video. I urge you to go listen to this song. Now, for some of you, this song may not move you, and that's okay. But I believe that it will touch you in some way to probably start a relationship or start your own journey in this life of what's going on around you and being more intentional, being very intentional about what you're doing and what you're touching on this world. Because everything has a cause and effect. Everything has a reaction. And I believe that this is one of the most simplest ways of how we can actually reprogram our civilization for not just the civilization to run the way that it needs to run, but also for your own life to bear more beautiful fruits inside of it. And I will say this, and I'll leave it with this intention. I will leave you guys here with this last thing. And to be honest, I'm not looking for this video to touch everybody's soul because it most likely won't. But the ones who have ears to hear, I know you will hear what I'm saying, and you're the ones that will make a difference. Because the thing is that even if you try, some people will try to do what I say and they still will fall short. The only way to actually make a difference is to truly, truly change your heart. You have to have love inside of your heart. Nothing around you will truly change unless you have true love in your heart. And for some people, this journey will take generations to come. But I'll also leave you with this. You could be a start to start changing your generation. Peace and love.